The plank has been around long enough that most people have written it off as too basic to bother with, but there's a reason many trainers and physical therapists still program it, and it traces back to one muscle that most don't know they have. The answer starts there, and one popular mistake is what turns a genuinely useful exercise into a complete waste of time. That muscle is called the transverse abdominis, and it sits underneath your six-pack like a built-in weight belt wrapping all the way around your midsection. You can spend years training your abs and never touch it once because it doesn't show up in a mirror, and most exercises don't actually reach it. The plank does, and here's why that matters. This is the muscle responsible for pulling your midsection inward, which is what gives your waist a tighter, more defined appearance even before you lose a single pound. It's also your body's primary stabilizer, the thing that keeps your spine protected and feel more stable when you're carrying something heavy or standing on your feet for hours without your lower back starting to ache. When you hold that position and brace properly, you're compressing your entire trunk, and that deep muscle is doing the work. That's the part of the plank that actually earns its place. But here's the mistake. Most people turn the plank into a test of how long they can hold on, sagging through the hips, letting their shoulders creep up toward their ears, just white-knuckling it to hit a time goal. That version of the plank works almost nothing. The transverse abdominis only switches on when you're actively bracing, squeezing your glutes, pressing the floor away, and treating the whole thing like you're trying to make yourself as rigid as possible. If you've ever walked away from a plank feeling it mostly in your shoulders and wrists, but not much through the middle of your body, that's exactly why. A tight 30-second plank done correctly beats a 3-minute plank done wrong every single time. So the plank is not useless, but what you're about to find out is that it's only half the equation, and the half that's missing is where your core actually starts to look and perform the way you want it to. There's something it can't do, and if you've been doing it consistently for more than a few weeks, there's a good chance your body has already hit a ceiling you didn't even notice. That ceiling is exactly where things get interesting. The problem with the plank is that it only trains your core in one position, holding still. It builds that static tension, and then it stops. Your body adapts to that demand faster than you'd expect. Within a few weeks of consistent planking, your nervous system has figured out how to handle that load, and unless you keep making it harder, which almost nobody actually does, you're essentially just practicing something you've already mastered. You're putting in the time and feeling like you're doing the work, but the adaptation stopped happening a while ago. Sound familiar? And here's where it gets even deeper. Your core was never designed just to hold still. Think about what your midsection actually does every day. It stabilizes you when you're carrying groceries with one arm and reaching for a door with the other. It braces when you catch yourself from a trip, or twist to grab something off the back seat, or push yourself up off the floor after playing with your kids. None of that is static. All of it is your core resisting movement, controlling rotation, and transferring force while the rest of your body is actually doing something. The plank doesn't train any of that. It trains the foundation, and then it leaves you there. Think about it like this. The plank is like practicing your balance by standing completely still on flat ground. Useful to a point, but the moment the ground moves or you're carrying something, that training doesn't fully transfer. Real stability is built by training your core while things are actually in motion, and that's a completely different demand on your body. That's why the two movements coming up are genuinely different. They're not harder versions of the plank for the sake of being harder. They train your core the way it actually has to work, and that's what starts to produce the kind of midsection strength and visible definition that a plank by itself never gets you to. If you're starting to realize that mobility and stability work should have been part of your training all along, that's exactly what the Reset Your Body blueprint is built around. Most programs ignore mobility and stability exercises entirely. They focus on strength and muscle, but they skip the movements that actually keep your body moving well as you age and prevent injury. That's why I created Reset Your Body. It's loaded with movements like mobility work and stability patterns, the overlooked stuff that keeps your joints healthy and your body feeling decades younger than it should. It's an organized guide that tells you what to do to get your body feeling the way you want it to, and it's designed to make sure you can keep doing exercises like these for the long haul without breaking down. If you're realizing your body needs more of this kind of work, scan the QR code on screen with your phone, or check the link in the description below the video. The dead bug is what the plank was trying to become. You're on your back, lower back pressed flat into the floor, arms reaching straight up toward the ceiling, knees bent at 90 degrees. From there, you slowly lower one arm overhead while extending the opposite leg toward the floor, keeping your lower back pinned the entire time. Then bring them back and switch sides. It looks simple. It is not simple. What makes this different from the plank is that your limbs are actually moving, and your core's entire job is to stop that movement from pulling your spine out of position. The moment your lower back lifts off the floor, the movement has won. So you're building the exact kind of core stability that transfers to real life, the kind that keeps your spine protected while the rest of your body does what it needs to do. And because you're working through an actual range of motion instead of just bracing in place, your deep abdominals have to fire continuously throughout the whole rep, not just hold a single position until time runs out. That's what keeps this exercise challenging week after week in a way the plank stops being. Start with 5 to 6 reps per side, moving slowly and with full control. If your lower back lifts off the floor, shorten your range of motion until you build the control to go further. That control is the whole point, because the goal isn't to complete the movement, it's to own every inch of it. Most people rush through this and wonder why it doesn't feel like much. Slow it down to 3 or 4 seconds per rep, and you'll understand immediately why this is harder than it looks. And for those of you wondering whether there's a way to take what you're building here and make it even more functional by getting on your feet, the next movement does exactly that. Stand next to a cable machine or anchor a resistance band at chest height. Hold the handle or band at your sternum with both hands, feet shoulder-width apart, standing sideways to the anchor point. From there, press your hands straight out in front of you, hold for a moment, and bring them back in. That's it. And the reason this is one of the most underrated core exercises you can do is because of what's happening the moment you press out. The tension from the band or cable is pulling you sideways. Your core's job is to resist that rotation and keep you square. You're not crunching, you're not bending, you're just standing there pressing your hands forward, and your entire midsection is working hard to stop your body from twisting toward the anchor. That's anti-rotation training, and it's something the plank never touches. Every time you reach across your body, turn to look over your shoulder, or brace yourself for impact, your core is doing exactly this, resisting a force that's trying to pull you off center. The carryover into real life is immediate. After a few weeks of this, the way your torso feels during activities you do every day starts to change. You feel more anchored when you're moving, more controlled when you're reaching or twisting. There's a steadiness that starts to show up in places you didn't expect. And that's your core finally being trained for the job it was always meant to do. FitZip isn't about fancy equipment or complicated programming, and this movement proves it. A single band anchored to a door is all you need to start building the kind of rotational stability that rarely gets trained. Stand with your core braced and your shoulders relaxed. Press out slowly, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and return with control. Do 8 to 10 reps facing one direction, then turn around and repeat on the other side. The side that feels harder is the side that needs it more, and that gap closes faster than you'd expect. The plank gave you the foundation. These two movements take it further than the plank ever could. The dead bug teaches your core to stabilize while your body is in motion. The palette press teaches it to resist the rotational forces that real life throws at you constantly. And don't forget to check out that Reset Your Body blueprint I told you about earlier if you want to take your functional fitness a step further.